Alright. Hi, this is Mr. Miro Man, or The Miro Man, depending on where you know me from. This is me continuing our Let's Play of Roadwarden. I think this is part 4 or 5, and let's begin. Controller, boot up. Oh, oops, I see why that's an issue now. The wire wasn't plugged all the way in. Let's load up. I do not remember where we stopped, so I'm gonna trust you refer to our last episode. Anyway, let's see. Okay, I remember this. I'm not rereading this. I think I read this like 5 times. Anyway, map. The ruins. Police camp. This the right one? I feel like it's not. Let's check real quick. I'm very suspicious. Yes, I'm sure. Huh. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Settings. No, let's double check. Map, we'll just backtrack later. Map. The ruins. Tullius Camp. Southern Crossroads. Okay, no, actually this is probably fine. Where is it? Let's back up a little bit. I think I know what happened here. This again? Not to seem annoyed, but I believe... You know what? Okay, we're gonna go back out real quick. Just because... I'm getting a sneaking suspicion. Okay, let's see. 2319, 21st, 21st, 23rd. No, it seems like this is legit. Okay. 23, Monday, 5th, 4th. No, okay. Yes, I'm just... Well, whatever. We'll speed through this because I'm sure we've done this a dozen times. See, possible to tell. Possible to tell. Possible to tell. Blah, blah, blah. Sure. Let's see. Travel. There we go. Alright, we'll just power through it till I get my bearings. As long as you ride uphill, the forest is sparse. Soon after, the tree roots tear the path apart. The road is coated with branches, acorns, leaves, and chestnuts, and some seedlings have already broken through the pitted surface of the road. If left undisturbed for another year or two, the forest will reclaim this place. Finally, you ride upward again. The plants are getting smaller, the road more rocky. I sigh of relief. Okay, nope, we've been here. Yeah, no, we've been here. Okay. Travel. Did I forget to save or something? Because I recognize... No, I'm sorry. We're going to have to figure this out. This is going to bother me to no end if I don't figure this out. Maybe I'll just edit it out in a minute. Let's see. Map, inventory, settings... Something feels off. Did I miss the save or something? No, it seems legit. Huh, okay. swear we got further than this. We're skipping this part because I'm sure we did this before in the last video, and I think I read it like 4 times, so I'm gonna just burn through this because I remember this because this was a whole thing where I spent like 10 minutes investigating and I realized it didn't really matter. So travel, let's go to the chapel. Okay, we were there. Okay, we're making a little bit more sense. Pelto of the North. Huh, this is so weird. Okay, see, this is why it's good to play these games a little bit more regularly. I've been gone for less than a week and I'm already feeling sort of, like I lost a lot of progress. It's what it is. Let's see. Or did the fog cover? I don't know. But we've been here, so don't worry. I swear we'll get to something a little less confusing, I think. Okay. The first part of the trail is narrow and overgrown. The steep crag in the south divides the lush forest in half. You barely recognize any shapes in the entanglement of the grays, browns, and greens. The northern landscape, while seemingly impenetrable, is the exact opposite. The meadow turns into barren hills and mountains, barely covered by grass and bushes. Maybe the riding ibexes of the clanspeople from the growing mountains would get through such a barrier. There are no clans here. The road leads you downhill to the edge of a lake. The clearing around the dwelling is quiet, with no crickets, flies, or even toads. The grass is not even knee-high. There are no signs of a wharf or boats. The wall wasn't coated and has already been bitten by winds and rains. I look for an entrance. Okay, we've definitely done this part. I must have lost some progress at some point, didn't realize it. Right next to a gate, a gargoyle, a stone look-alike, kneels on its slab. It's dark purple, almost black, with yellow pointy teeth, though its half-open mouth has no tongue, and the creature doesn't even move an inch. The eyes have been replaced by crystals red like currant juice. Knock on the gate. Finding no knocker, you use your fist. There's no response. Anyone home? Okay, so we've done this. I guess I saved over or something like that. I'm not sure what quite happened, but I remember this from the last playthrough. I'm not going to reread this. It just sort of takes away from the thing. Maybe I'll edit out this part later. We'll see. She doesn't like us. She tells us to get lost. I remember that. Let's see. We'll do the distance. New Roadwarden. Oh, okay. I guess they're letting us in because it's morning or something like that. Or evening. So I guess I will read the last part then. Oh, this one's kind of rough. Let's see. Return. Archive. That's where I want to go. Anyone home? Your voice is welcomed by the screeching of dozens of avian throats. They take off from behind the wall, heading towards the lake. After a few breaths, the eyes of the gargoyle grow brighter. What's with all the ape shouts? You lost? The words are coming from the monster's mouth, though it remains still. Stand in front of me. I want to see a mug. The drawling voice belongs to a woman, but is lined with unnatural creaking. I step closer. The eyes don't rotate nor blink. So who are ye? I'm me, bro, the new Roadwarden. I see. A short pause. I don't leave my house often, but I may have a job for a traveler. You know who I am, right? I don't. I'm just getting another realm. So, you lost your way and now you're wasting my time. You're lucky I'm not working. Remember, I meet with people only in the evenings or the early mornings. Wait where you are. We're opening the gate. The monster's eyes darken again, and soon after you hear heavy steps and the earth shakes. Something lifts the beam blocking the gate. You realize that your hand is already on the heft of your axe. Okay. I'll say one day such instincts are going to save my life. The gate opens violently and rebounds with a loud thud, almost closing again. The creature in front of you is made of floating rocks that appear to be connected, but it's just an illusion. They can twist and bend in every direction. The eyeless sentinel faces you blankly. You've seen other golems in Halzavan, aimlessly helping with bothersome tasks, but you've no idea what makes them move. It lowers its slab-like hands and steps aside, making way for you. Its head rotates following your steps, but other than that, it's as motionless as a statue. Right into the yard. The house in front of you has a huge entrance. The house in front of you has a huge entrance, just large enough for a golem. The building is whitewashed, but the lime is aged and damaged. The tools are spread around in no particular order. The rocks resting on top of the shed resemble the golems. The garden patches covered with herbs and vegetables are neglected. It's quiet here. Maybe I'll approach the golem just to get a feel for what's going on. It seems dead, inactive as city folk would call it. But the pneuma still makes its chunks float less than an inch away from one another. It doesn't react to your presence. Unlike the previous golem, this one bears engraved signs on larger rocks. Their meaning is unclear to you, but you can't tell if they're a decoration or a carrier of spells. A leaf of the door opens. I step closer. Oops. The woman is tall and stands upright, with her arms crossed and legs apart. She's more than 30, with a face touched by a lack of sleep. She gives you a long look, observing your blade, hands, boots, forehead, everything but your eyes. I greet you. Without the distortion caused by the gargoyle, her strong voice isn't as disquieting. No surprise that it caught your eye, but don't disturb it. It's very much awoken and will defend itself, or me if it comes to it. I give her a better look. She's wearing a long, ragged robe covered in stains. It used to be blue, but now is unevenly pale. She's barefoot with skin covered with dust and dirt. Her dark hair was recently washed, but it's untidily spread on her shoulders, back, and chest. She wears no jewelry, belt, or buckles. So she's a witch, I think. Let's see, return. Let's see. I think maybe I'll go with the friendlier version. Or maybe we'll go friendly. I'm glad you have a moment to spare. I won't bother you for long. She looks at the ground and draws out her words. I sure hope not. I'm not interested in chatter. If you need to bother me, speak in the tongue of dragons and barter. I don't serve stew. I don't offer baths. If you come here, I better get out from it. She walks past you and cocks her head towards the golem who let you in. It turns around and shuts the gate. Good that you came at such an hour. Keep it up in the future. If you ever come here in the middle of the day, you'll stand outside looking at the doors like an ibex. And here I am, Edosia, the best and only enchantress in this corner of the world. Her voice remains cold. Why are you here? Let's see. Let's try. We're looking for Asterion. That's probably the most pressing thing. I'm looking for Asterion, the previous Roadwarden. Nah, he's not here. Not even a mouse in my shed. She meets your eyes, yet her gray irises remain absent. Her sigh turns into a snort. Aught else? Let's see. Let's ask about the bandits, I guess. I've heard about some bandits. Don't they bother you? She puts her hands on her sides and straighten up, displaying her unusual height. Another tall girl. This is another sick game of hers. If so, tell her I'm not interested in either her head or her offers. You notice the sudden movement of her golem. Oh, damn girl. Mosquito. It's been rather warm here today, so I have the back door open, so the mosquitoes are sort of drawn here on occasion. I sprayed some peppermint, but you know what? I digress. Let's see. You seem unfriendly, but you know what? We're gonna keep it simple. So what's your story? Why do you live so far from any village? Looks fine. Nope. No? Okay. Fine. He is very not chatty. We'll just keep it simple. I'm looking for a job. She stands still for a moment, then cocks her head to the side. I've got some stuff that I can use another hand. You up for some danger if it comes to it? You nod and act what sort of creature is bothering her. Nah, I mean riding and climbing. If you can do it without grabbing that axe of yours, fine. Now give me a moment. She opens one of the heavy doors to her house, and you catch a glimpse of a messy bed and a floor covered with clothes. After a minute, she shows up with a large sack filled with rods made of smooth, clean bronze. Here's the gist of it. I need you to get to 8 spots across the peninsula. High buildings, trees, mountainsides. I don't really travel much. She lets out a confident chuckle. So I can't hold your hand. I need one of them in the right marshes, in the wetlands far west of here. Other than that, you need to keep your eyes open. She takes one of the rods. Once you reach a good spot, place one of these as high as you can. I'll pay you in dragons. 2 for 1 each, but place at least 4 before you come to see me. I need as many of them out there as possible. So far, so good. What are they for? Well, there's magic in them, as you can imagine. You weigh a rod in your hand. Even though it's more than 2 feet long, it's light, empty inside. You could bend it on your knee. The bag also contains a long hemp cord and a scrap of cloth. If I were to send my golems away, let's say a mile or 2 from here, they'd stop moving at all, waiting for me to show up. She approaches the nearest sentinel and touches its chest. They carry similar rods inside, so the plan is to give my orders better range, so to speak. I'm tired of defending on hirelings, especially since they no longer stop by. She leans against the golem with her arms crossed. Questions? How much time do I have? Oh, don't worry about it. She dusts off the golem's arm. Let's say, before the leaves turns yellow. Let's say some of the locals... Let's see what she says. Some of the locals may not be happy with me putting bronze rods on their rooftops. She gives you a puzzled look. Wardens do have their ways to get on people's good side, correct? Do I want to roll for it? Yeah, no, I let's see, I'm going to have to ask about this thing. And I can be sure that you have no plans to raid the village with an army of unstoppable sentinels, right? Oh my god, such a whiner. Her gray eyes give you a long, disquieting look. You can swear it's getting colder in here. I won't ask for your trust and I don't need it. Either help me or leave the rods and do your own stuff. Look, this is gonna bite us in the ass. But we'll give it a shot. Let's roll. I may be forced to pull some strings to get it done. 2 dragon bones won't be enough. Oh, Jesus Christ. You haggle for a bit, but her distrust is like a wall. She waves your arguments off. I'm not a merchant and I don't gather corns for the thrill of it. I'm putting almost 20 dragons on the table here. Should be enough. Do all 8 rods and I may prepare odd else for you. Alright. We have a deal. She avoids your eyes. Great, just don't die on the road. This bronze caused me many favors, and be sure to leave one of the rods in the white marshes. Let's see. I want to learn more about the peninsula. Jesus Christ. I'm not selling any gossip, nor am I buying it. I got my huts, my guards, and my lakes. I'm an artisan, not an innkeep. If you need one, ride south to Pell to the north. The keeper is stiff like a broom, but offers a nice room. Her voice is dripping with annoyance. Or if you'd rather visit a cheerful place, ride north to Foggy Lake. Or was it Foggy's Lake? Whatever, Foggy's the keeper. At least she's not as boring as the other guy. Do we have any items that we need to fill for Numa? Horn. I think we're good for right now. Let's see, do you have anything to sell? Well, I'm not a trader. I do the stuff people ask me about, and they're not for sale. She glances at the house, then towards a pocket at her hips. There's but 1 tool that I'm willing to part with for 10 bones, but for set spellcasters only. She reaches out to you. In her open palm, you see a flat, small pebble, bluish, but in no way unusual. You put it in your mouth and press it to your palate. No chewing, she smirks. If you're a sorcerer, it will restore your Pneuma. Let's see. What if it's used by someone who still has Pneuma in them, or can't use magic? Oh, you don't want to do that. She grabs the ends of her hair. It will boil your blood and rip your skin apart. Each shell is like a bottle for Pneuma. It has its limits. You can train to contain more of it, like I've been doing for more than 20 years now, but there's no magical rock that's going to do it for you. Mosquito? Oh my god. Anyway, I'll think about it. Does I see a barren field? Let's ask her. Found a barren field that can be affected by a curse. Do you have anything I can use to see if I'm right? A cursed field. Where did you find this stuff? Actually, no, let me... Oh my god. There we go. Finally. Where was I? A cursed field. Where did you find this stuff? As you explained briefly, she observes your boots. I know the place, but she steps away and approaches the garden patch by her house. She observes it for a moment, then noses out, paying no attention to her robe, and reaches for a wooden spade. What she digs out looks like a tree sapling with 2 leaves that are as large as a hand and a thin, elastic stalk. It's shorter than your head. Would you look at that, still green? Give me 2 dragons and I'll put it in a bag with soil. It should survive at least a couple of days. How does it work? She straightens up. Well, you plant it, of course. Wait for half an hour. You see, if it grows an inch, she frowns, raises the plant to her eyes, and grunt. Forget it. If it blessed in the broom, the soil is enchanted. If it withers, it's cursed. Stays the same, no pneuma. She lowers it again. Just be careful when you do it. It loves fogs. So it's a plant. So it's a plant that grows by magic. Yes, and it costs 2 dragons. I think I'm gonna think about it, because I don't even remember what we're talking about. Let's see. Would she even let me stay here? No. Oh, okay. Even though she draws out her words with frustration, she speaks with ease as if she's reciting a memorized speech. I know how harsh the woods can be, but I don't offer shelter to travelers. I don't want to look behind my own shelter for hours or use my golems to protect you. Travel north or south, look for a tavern or an inn. You find a safe hearth there. She brinks and close across her arms. We're both adults. Don't tell me that I could bind you with a rope or take away your blades. The less I have to touch thee, the better. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good for now. So I haven't been here? Okay, let's go investigate. I have been in here. This is definitely one of my clumsier episodes, isn't it? Let's see, let's ask about Glossy again. Alright, Hallersdale. Okay, I'm on it. Let's go to sleep. Let's see, sleeping in a room, a comfy bed with a clean blanket in an isolated chamber. You also get a large breakfast, a wash tub with water and soap, and some clothes to wash your teeth. So I'll give us another piece, and then the heart. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Okay, this seems interesting. The sound has changed. You hear a thunderous roar. Let me lock in. You hear a thunderous roar. You rise to your feet and rub the sleep from your eyes. The doors are opening. People are shouting orders and words of warning. As you open the window, you see what's behind the commotion. Something's on the other side of the wall trying to get through, and the guards are fighting it off with their torches, spears, and crossbows. Thanks to their light, you see the large, furry paws placed on the top of the wall walk. As far as you can tell, the beast is but a single leap away from getting inside. Do I need to help them? Why not? You look for your gambeson and blade, still a bit foggy in your thoughts, and once you find them, you struggle to get inside the jacket. As your habits kick in, you see the innkeeper right in front of you, holding a candle. You're a guest, stay here, he says without a shadow of hesitation. My team has no time to worry about outsiders. Just after his words, you hear a cheerful laughter from the wall. Judging by the way they point their fingers and lower their weapons, the beast is fleeing. Well, I shouldn't expect that people will need my help all the time. If I had been there, we could have caught it. I mean, I don't think we're going for Pokemon right now, but who knows. Okay. The small room is quiet and far away from unwanted eyes. You take a calm bath, rest on a soft mattress, look through the window, and enjoy the minutes of safety. In the morning, you find a stool with a large wooden plate bearing an aromatic breakfast, a pie of hair and cabbage, a bowl of plums and grapes, and a cup of moonfloom milk. Downstairs, the innkeeper is putting firewood to the stove. He asks if you need anything. Any leftovers? Nope. Okay, we're good. Let's go travel. Okay, let's see. Okay, I remember this. I apologize if this is going to be such a disjointed Let's Play. Like I said, seemed like we lost some progress. I think maybe there was like an autosave and then something's going on. I'll see what I can fix in a post, as they say. Anyway, let's see. I'm not ready to enter the heart of the forest. The stream ahead can be crossed by a humble ford made of hundreds of rocks that used to reach from the bottom to the surface, but is now partially demolished, either by time or a living creature. For a rider, crossing won't be much of a problem, but most travelers would have to take off their pants and shoes. Moving an entire wagon would pose quite a challenge. The water is clean and the banks are low. A good watering spot for Cruxio. Why am I gathering larger? Let's try it. Yeah, let's try to gather this. I could spend some time gathering larger rocks and throwing them into the water. We'll see. Yeah, why not? Let's try an hour. An hour should be enough to cover at least half of the gaps. You let Cruxio graze and drink by the stream. You wander along the edge of the dark forest on one side and a colorful meadow on the other, and seek rocks smaller than your head. Carrying them makes you tired quickly. It's enough for now. After you're done, the deepest holes are now filled by your rocks. It's enough for now. I move on. The color of leaves range from greens to purples and overwhelm you with shadows. The stems and shrubs twisted in all directions, seeking the slightest scraps of sunlight. The trees are not too tall, but their trunks are as wide as buildings. The neglected road has been carved into the thicket, an inch at a time, a corridor of plants with a floor made of pebbles that give way to sapling and vines. From time to time, you pass by many turns, relics left by roaming dragons, unicorns, and trolls. Some of them are still used by beasts, boars, striped cats, or packs of goblins. The birds are sharing their songs, as cheerful as ever. When necessary, I clear any thicket in Cruxio's way. You reach a gap in the tunnel of plants. The meadow nourishes a lonely tree growing in the shadow of a rocky hill surrounded by humble grasses. Near the tree's roots, a wolf without fur is feasting on a human corpse, unaware of your presence. Let's look at the corpse. Well, yeah, let's look at the corpse. You don't see much from afar. It's in one piece with blood-soaked clothing torn to pieces, indistinguishable from the loose flaps of skin. There's no sacks, bags, or equipment, but you spot a trail of blood leading into the trees. The creature must have dragged the shell from the deeper woods. The beast raises its head. Its ears are shaking. I look around. Okay, you want me, huh, buddy? You see no other creatures. The road in front of you is passable. The birds in the sky seem harmless. The beast turns its head towards you. Its eyes are shining like charcoal. I look at the wolf. Oh, it really wants to mess with me, huh? It's standing on all fours, crouching forward, with blood dripping from its massive canines. Its head, and especially its jaw, are wide and long like those of a horse. His brown shield is muscular, pronounced shoulder blades, the hair resembling your arms, and a tuft of black fur at the ends of his foot-long tail. The beast turns its head towards you. Its eyes are like shining charcoal. Yeah, no, we're good. Cruxio gladly obeys. The beast spares you a glance, but doesn't follow you. Oh, right. The fog reanimates, doesn't it? I don't really think there's any point in fighting right now. And besides, maybe the beasts will break the bones before they get touched by the fog. It's possible. That thing looks quite hungry. Your eyes wander between the wall of trees and shrubs on one side and the dirty pond on the other. The road itself is wide, covered with soggy logs that keep the ground from turning into mud. It is breaking under your mount's hooves, letting out what sounds like a sigh of relief. The water surfacely stinks of carrion, and it is covered with a blanket of green plants and white flowers that draw countless buzzing insects. Even a horse shouldn't drink from it. You know, there is one thing that comes in handy from this copious amounts of reading that I'm having to do for this. I've been thinking maybe I'll try, voice acting or narrating audiobooks. I'm told I have a decent voice. I kind of doubt it, since whenever I listen to these things, I start cringing, and oh god, Lord knows I get tongue-tied, during this thing. But then again, I am reading a massive amount of text. Cruxio tries to get familiar with the unusual pavement and speeds up to jump over a fallen trunk blocking your path. Once it lands, it breaks one of the logs in halves. Soon after, you reach a massive black saurian resting on the ground, enjoying the light at the edge of the forest. It seems to be ignoring your presence. Once again, Cruxio canters. I trust its instincts. Once the monster raises its head, you're already in the air. The beast pushes itself away from the ground with its forelimbs, trying to catch any chunk of flesh with its massive jaws, but you safely hit the ground and return to a trot slowly. Ha, get fucked. I pay attention to the dead trees sticking out the pond. It looks similar to that saurian. The road is bright, empty, surrounded by sparsely growing trees, gentle hills and meadows. It leads you to a cairn, a pile of rocks ranging in size from your abdomen to your fist. There are also quite a few tiny pebbles. A narrow, hardly passable trail leads south, but likely won't survive another year without travelers. Let's look at the cairn real quick. Or maybe we can do let's look at the cairn. There's rider than two people standing side by side and taller than Cruxio. The grass surrounds it tightly. It must be years old, but could just as well be older than any village in the north. You find rocks in many colors, including red, cream, white, black, and blue, and many dotted or mixed ones. While the cairn stays firmly behind your touch, it will be easier to shatter with a pickaxe or single strike from a dragon. You also notice pieces of old chicken bones pressed among the rocks. Unfortunately, no coins. I step away. Alright, let's look for the place to put the rod. You look for snakes in the grass, grab the reins, and climb uphill. Though the sparse flowers and grass as green as the merchant's dress. Oh, I'm going to reread that. You look for the snakes in the grass, grab the reins, and climb uphill. Through the sparse flowers and grass as green as the merchant's dress. The few trees you pass by are healthy but unremarkable, more like shrubs with trunks. You get a nice look from the top of the hill, but even from here you can't see the tips of the trees to the north and west. You're surrounded by the walls and blankets of greenery. You approach the closest shrub. Oh, Jesus. You approach the closest shrubby tree with thick branches that grow right above the ground. I prepare the rod. Oh. You allow Cruxio to graze and then step on the lower branches, getting up quickly. You lean your weight against the dry bow, holding the bronze rod with one hand and tying it with the other. In no time, you land back on the grass. I climb down the hill. You're by the cairn. I continue my journey. Every minute or so, you get lost in the dense woods. When possible, you stick to the remains of the beaten path, clearing the overgrown thicket that blocks your way. But it would take many more travelers to sustain such a trail. The land around you may lack greens, but is far from being empty. The fallen boughs and dead stumps are slowly devoured by ants and mushrooms, a web-like labyrinth of wooden walls, while the white termites larger than your hands continue their never-ending march. Their guards notice your presence, but simply form a warning line in front of their workers. Those are some large termites. Jeez. The trees are taller than the temple in the city, with trunks resembling the legs of giants. The shadows they cast are like a carpet, and the few beams of light nourish the sparse bushes and ferns. The only plants that aren't choked by the rotting late summer leaves shaped like two squares as large as your face. Now that I'm more familiar with the part of the forest, I may be able to find a smoother path. The forest gives way to rocks and green hills, but among the tall trees are numerous monkeys sitting in a small group, loud yet shorter than half your size. They distort the green leaves with red, brown, white, and blue fur. As you approach their territory, their excitement grows. They climb up and down the trunks, sway on vines, jump between branches, and hang down, putting to use their long tails. They throw at you countless angry glances and grunts, but also cones, branches, and chestnuts. A piece of their fresh feces lands close to Cruxio, but the pack's aim is rather miserable. We'll keep going. We'll just power through it. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. You try to shield yourself with your cloak, but you enter an avalanche of missiles. One of the rocks painfully hits your arm, but your gambeson is great shape and softens the blow. Soon after that, your shoulder blocks something from reaching your forehead. You rush Cruxio, which is more than happy to follow your command. The monkeys follow you, swinging between the trees until they reach the edge of their territory, letting out triumphant shouts. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, next time you guys are getting a crossbow. I didn't want to waste the money. Or the materials, rather. The corridor of leaves and gray rocks leads you to the gate, large enough to let a wagon through, held together by a wooden bar. The planks and rocks are covered with claw marks left by various monsters, but they weren't able to damage the walls as much as the passage of time in the piercing rains. A large man, covered in shadows, is observing you from the roof tower. His voice is hoarse, distrustful. You lost or aught? Listen, grab the wooden bar on the door. I'll grab the one on my side. Just give me a minute. Alright, I dismount and lift the log. The man lowers a rope that hangs from an iron hook. You hear him pressing his feet to the wall as he climbs down, getting on ground swiftly. Now step back. His voice is muffled. The man pushes both leaves of the gate and steps closer, looking around. He's holding a loaded crossbow but doesn't aim at you. He's both tall and wide. He's wearing a black gambeson so ragged that it can't be fastened anymore. It has a story of claws, thorns, and improvised repairs. The hole in the man's hemp pants reveal a scraped knee. You followed? He whispered. No, not really. We're good. Good. He steps away, letting you through. The stool and the bucket filled with dirty water don't look like much for a resting spot. You're safe now. The man closes the gate and observes you with a keen eye. It's hard to tell his age through his exhausted, sleepy eyes, a short, unkempt beard, and a bandage horizontally covering his ears in a spot that used to be his nose. Oh wow, he's had it rough. There's clotted blood in his brown hair and mud on his clothes and brown neck. Despite all this, he's a huge shell with wide shoulders and thick legs. Now, how are you alive? He still holds his weapon, but doesn't aim it at you. I don't know your mug. Let's see. No, we'll keep it. Let's see. I'll be distance. I don't want to be... Yeah, see distance. I'm Mibro, the new road warden. And you're the gatekeeper, I assume? Well, yeah, he looks at his weapon. I'm just on duty guarding, but I'm no enemy of his. He straightens up. So, Roden, you're new to the job? New here, but I know what I'm doing. They'll pass and prepare you for this shit place. Nights are all ape piss and blood. Just before sunrise, a bird tried to pluck my eye. This gate here? He places his hand on a brick as to prove it exists. It's older than me. All there? He points behind him. Wilds and beasts. My tribe built this place to keep them away from us. Not but the brave ones enter the woods, and not but the stupid ones do it alone. He scratches a bandage on his sheep. Name's Quintus from Old Pagos. Been there? Not yet. Jeez, okay. So I have no sense of direction, so basically I went to the Badlands or something. He trembles, his eyes widen. Someone has got to stay at the gate. The villagers in the east don't know about the illness. They may try crossing the woods, hit the closed gate while fleeing some wolves and stuff. He rubs his dirty neck. And I also can't leave the gate open. It's like a dam for monsters. All I can do is choose the way I die. This is it, with my duty fulfilled. Okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna make a note to myself. What's this guy's name again? Quentin's? Humans. I'm just making a note to myself. You know, this guy talking about duty and, you know, kind of selfless. Makes me think of... Is that another mosquito? Yes, I can probably make another stoicism note out of this. Let's see. Archive, journal. Okay, Quintus Oedipus. But yeah, you know, he seems to be a fairly noble guy. At least from what I can tell, or at the very least, he takes duty seriously. Since he refuses to leave and, you know, go finds a little bit safer of a... Basically, as we can tell, things have been very rough for, you know, Mr. Quintus. He's got all kinds of injuries. He seems to be by himself, and it's basically just him holding the line. He has no nose. He's covered in blood. His clothes are ragged, and he's still over here just holding the line, doing what he can. And he's made peace with, you know, the fact that he may die doing this, and he would find that satisfying, which is a very stoic thing to say. So I'm just making a note, you know, of, you know, his plight and things like that, because I thought he's a very noble guy. But anyway, so maybe I'll make a note about that in the future. Let's see, something probably involving, I don't know, role theory and something like that. I think we can do that. But anyway, enough of my mid-game digression. Let's see. Let's say, what do you know about the plague? Not much. It killed. That's all there is to know. My tribe's smart locking the gate. The right gave them strength. I'm surprised you survived for this long. Well, you can call it surviving. I call it potions. His chuckle makes him wince in pain. He puts his hand on his stomach and leans away. Beasts took me for easy prey, but the good monks from the mountains have clipped our guards well. They're helping or ill, but used to brew all sorts of stuff. His hand moves to an earthenwell bottle by his belt. Dry throat. You can at least spend nighttime in one of the villages. He adjusts his jacket by shaking his shoulders, making the buckles jingle. I'm not a beggar, and the villages in the north won't help me for more than a day or two. I've got no dragon bones, just this little ibex. He pats his crossbow. Old Pagos is by itself, and we don't look for kind folks. He thinks for a moment. I'll just wait. I'll get back home once the plague's done, or before winter. He looked at his disfigured face. I'd say he's more proud than anything. I wouldn't say he's dumb. He doesn't seem that optimistic about everything. But if he thinks they won't help him, he might know. I don't know, actually. We'll stick with that for now. Against it, Cruxia. You understand, I'm sure. Wardens are souls of duty. Okay, yeah. This was definitely interesting. What to do? Let me see if I can save any information about him. I'm kind of a little annoyed they don't. I hope they save something about him. Alright, I'll just... This could be interesting. Note. I actually didn't know this did a thing until just now. Duty. Stoics. Okay, that's just a little note for myself. Anyway. If I were to actually keep this gate open for you, well, you saw how it is. I could open for you. You touch the stomach and deep of breath. but I need you to get me out first. What do you want? I'm hungry. Bring me some rations, baby. Dried meat, apples, nuts. He sized you up. 6 meals, then I'll help you with the gate. Well, let's ask. Don't you have time to hunt? Time, but I got to stay near the gate. I can't keep people waiting while I trap deer. He touches a bandage to his face, and if I die, there will be no keeper left. Yeah, that's fair. No, just get the dude some food. I don't give a shit. Honestly, guys going through so much. I'm not about to fucking force him to do all that. Although I feel like he has to be hunting at some point. Or he's running himself ragged. Maybe he's a little dumb, or he's just that duty bound where he absolutely won't even take that chance. Thanks. His smile may be disfigured by his wounds, but it's as warm as his voice. I'll take any help I can get. Let's ask if he knows Asterion. Look for Asterion. That's nice, but he hasn't been here for many days. You're sure he's not dead? After you admit that he very much may be, he puts his hand on his waist. Well, we better get ready to slit over every dragon belly in the wilds. Do you often travel through the woods? Sure, they're on a different mount. He had a saurian, 4 ibexes. Oh, okay, 4 ibexes long. Hold on, and we kill another mosquito. Death has found you. There we go. Death didn't find it. Okay, let's see. Sure, they're on a different mount. He had a saurian, 4 ibexes long and 2 ibexes tall. He moves on 4 legs and jumps high and far. It's dark green like rotting leaves. That one time I was taking a piss in the shrubs and Asterion made the beast run up the rock face and it jumped on that. He points at the hill. And like they ran above the wall and landed on the other side just like that. He snaps his fingers. His voice and eyes gain new vigor. You say the saurian was large and green? I mean, not everywhere. He points at his eyebrows. He has red scales here and on the tail. Shoulders, I think. I don't know what to call it. You ask him for a bit about Asterion, but he has little to add. There used to be 6 of us keepers. I saw him every now and then, but not that often. Let's ask about Edosia. Do you know Edosia the Enchantress? I was wondering if I could place this on your tower for her, or if you could. You have pack and sew him the rod. Lighter than it looks, he says quietly. And I know Edosia. She always is out weird. She was a quiet kid, but a smart one. Never tried to steal my milk. He hands it back to you and puts on an unpleasant smirk. But I'm doing not for free. Alright, whatever, that's fine. Let me guess. Bring me 7 oh my god. Fat boy. Bring me 7 rations, some tasty ones. My people won't be happy I'm doing favors for a dissenter. I don't mean you. He clears his throat after seeing your look. I better get strong before I start making excuses, no? Jesus Christ. Whatever. Price of doing business. Okay. I've heard stories about bandits. Were they bothering you? He scratches a bandage on his chief. I only know there's one band somewhere, but not around. I never saw them. Can you tell me about the road behind the gate? Oh, not much. His chuckle turns to a cough. It leads through lowlands, mostly wood and some ponds. It's dark and lethal. He mentioned tales of ghosts, dragons, fogs, and blood mages. But whenever you ask about creatures in particular, his response is vague and brief. The tribes abandoned this path. Ever since the war, the trade has been going slow. People refuse to patrol it. The plants are getting taller, but at least for a few more seasons, it's still a shortcut. It's good that you have a mount. If Ott chases you, always stay close to the path and ride as fast as you can. I feel like we've already answered this because he has to hold the door, but if no one uses this road, why are you here? He scowls at you. Not no one. It's where people hunt for monsters, and every few days I have to open it for reasons. Okay, whatever. What's it like to live in Old Pagos? He opens his mouth, giving you a puzzled look, and lets out a weak chuckle. What am I to say? We've got rocks. He taps the wall. We make houses, bowls, tools. We sell them too. We grow oats and broad beans. Ibexes give us wool and skins for monks. What do you call it, the one you write on? He moves on when you mention parchment. Yeah, it's a good place. Beautiful old hill. That's what Pagos means. Old hill. When you bring up the monastery, his eyes get brighter. Good people. They came here on a mission, teaching us White's book. My grandparents were pagan, you know. But now we follow the river of truth. We keep to ourselves, but help others when they need us. You mentioned something about Glossia? Why are you fed Glossia? He straightens up and gives you a long look. I don't know who you're talking about. Okay. No one trusts me. Okay, travel. Where are we? Secluded residence. I feel like we're gonna back up from the gate. Guess not. The way he talked about it made it sound like we were about to get wrecked, but gotta do what we gotta do. You pass boot prints, cart tracks, pieces of rubbish, and the old signs of maintenance. From cut shrubs to stones pushed to the side. The monkeys and birds small, and the hills turn greener and farther west you get. The sound of a distant creek is relaxing and monotonous. Let me just check something. Okay, we're good. It looks like I can ride in peace for once. Cruxiel's hooves thump loudly on the beaten track. The green bushes, shrubs, and trees prove that the soil here is fertile. Get the plants that overgrow the road. Oh my god, another mosquito. These crossroads must be busy at times, maybe even patrolled. In the distant west, you see the mountain peaks dividing the lowlands from the ocean. There's a dense forest in the north, from which you hear the croaking of toads. The croaking of toads. Oh my god. The croaking of toads, not toes. I hope not. I hope there's no toad monsters in here. The trail south is curvy, surrounded by hills. You don't see many plants on the horizon. The last path is already known to you. You're surrounded by 4 signposts, all of which seem to be made from the same type of wood, now covered in moss and fungi. Yet the pictures and letters that cover the nailed boards are nothing alike. Let's check the western signpost first. It has 2 planks attached to a single post, both of them nailed with rusty steel. The lower sign is divided in 2 halves. The left edge is engraved with 4 simple shapes, squares of roof-like lines hanging above them. The other edge bears 2 engraved piles, one of them made of horizontal rectangles, the other of inexact circles. You don't recognize the letters between these 2 piles. The upper plank is covered with 2 short words drawn in white in paint, and right below them an engraved vertical rectangle with a house inside it. Means nothing to me. The eastern, the long plate attached with rusted iron nails is almost empty. It bears no words, only a single picture painted with great care. It portrays a city-like gate with a watchtower to its left and right, and a couple of small conifers growing beside and partially behind the towers. Let's see. I approach the northern signpost. It's attached with nails made of pointy carved bones and divided into 3 sections covered with small engravings. The part on the left has 3 squares with roof-like lines hanging above them. No other pictures or words. The one in the middle has only 1 square, but also a simple horizontal symbol of a fish and a short word beneath it, which you don't recognize. The image on the right has 2 roof squares, but also 2 other images which you recognize easily. A deer in a standing barrel. Okay. It's covered with green, blue, and white paint to portray a simple square with roof-like lines hanging above them. Each square has a large letter inside, though you don't recognize them. Nevertheless, the pictures are not too old. There are no other sets of watermarks. The plank was attached to a set of wedges. Was there one on the east? No, it's not the one. West. No, that's not the one. North. Nope. South. Wait, nope. Okay. Let's check this. Piles. East. Okay, east is the one I was looking for. Let's search the area. The thicket doesn't help. You notice the remains of berries and pears, but most of them are already rotting, spread close to the wooden stoves at the side of the road. The nearby creek is not impressively deep, but the beaver dam, for some reason, taller than you are, makes it wide, and waters the surrounding soil. A few steps away from the southern signpost, you found something sticking out of a shrub. It's a moist plank covered by fungi. You try to move it with a stick in a gloved hand. After a minute or so, you confirm it's a abandoned sign covered with green letters and colorful pictures of trees and flowers. I don't think I care that much. Let's see what we got. Is it south? Hold on, let's see. North. I'm speed reading a little too much. East. Okay, east is where we want to go, I think. Wait, no, that can't be right. Screw it. You cross the clean, shallow yet wide Howler's Creek, then follow the uphill path, squeeze between the hills and the lush forest. You spend a good couple of minutes passing a hunted meadow, filled with dozens, maybe 100, cut down trees now overgrown by bushes and grass. You can't think of another time when you've seen a clearing of such a size. Oh, jeez. Okay, I understand what's going on now. So the animals don't like the... Well, it makes sense. If you're deforesting everything, the animals got to go somewhere. And, eventually, the monsters and stuff will probably be a little pissy and, try to break in like they've been doing. Interesting. Okay, let's say it seems a little bit dangerous. Once the clearing ends, pardon me. Once the clearing ends and turns into a corridor of trees and hills, you stop your horse. There's a monster in the middle of the road, reaching out with its long arms to grab and devour fruits and devour fruits and leaves from tree crowns, chewing them without haste. It's standing on its hind legs and leaning on a thick tail. As there isn't much hair on its gray skin, you see its impressive muscles. The beast is 3 times the size of a human, and while each move it makes is slow, its long claws and the ease with which it breaks one of the branches make you think that a single swing would be enough for it to pierce through your jacket, or just as likely, that would simply break your bones and send you into the air. Like most people, you know quite a bit about pebblers. Once they get used to an unfenced farm or forest garden, getting rid of them can be a huge issue. There aren't many blades able to cut through their thick skin and bones, and a single mistake may put them into a furious charge, encourage them to look for human dwellings which they can tear down in revenge. The beast doesn't give you as much as a glance, but it also doesn't move away. The best you can hope for is that it's going to walk away on its own, maybe tomorrow, maybe later. Facing if I would end up badly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a no for me, boss. Well, we're already here, so let's try to figure out where that's... Take another look at the sign. Flowers and trees. Let's see where it's attached. Let's see. South. North. Well, let's try going north, I guess. Some parts of the road leap uphill, some downhill. The forests are lush, but not too dark. The few foraging deer and boars keep their distance, and the birds are disinterested in your presence, singing cheerfully and preening their feathers. Sound of an ongoing hunt reached you from the east, but none of the nearby creatures seem bothered. Once you get farther north, the colorful meadow reveals tall hills on the other side of the stream, but the road leads through a valley. There's a gentle plume of smoke coming from one of the mountains in the west. Let's save real quick. If I did something, wait, click save. No, save journal. We're gonna save. I don't know what happened last time, but we are not having it, so we will replace you. And we're gonna override you. Okay, I think we're good. Oh jeez, mosquito! Oh my goodness, Watch the mosquito noises on the thing somehow summon the mosquitoes that I'm dealing with. Oh, Lord. Anyway, still ourselves, brother. The road leads to a gentle creek. The road leads to a gentle creek filled with the buzzing of flies, mosquitoes, and gnats. You don't spot any creatures among the tall meadows, tree branches, or rocky slopes. Seeing the shapeless dark vortex of wings, Cruxio snorts. You're currently on the southern bank. Let's see. Oh, jeez. Let's try the torch. I read for with a blazing torch. You move away from the creek, get on your feet, and pack the tinderbox, the wooden staff, and the set of rags, as well as the oil. After you assemble a torch, you set down on the ground, preparing the flint and linen char cloth. Decades ago, before the sudden invasion, people used fire strikers made of thick steel, but all you have is a cube-like piece of harsh pyrite. It's not ideal, but good enough for a couple of sparks. Holding the fire, you get back in the saddle. You swing your weapon left and right. There isn't as much smoke as you expected. Let's put it to the test. Oh, jeez. Once you get closer to the fort, countless creatures beset you, filling your eyes, mouth, and nose, hitting you like a squishy, buzzing hail. You ride for it blindly, instantly forgetting about your preparations, trying to get out of here as fast as you can, but the insects are sticking with you much longer than the smoke. It takes a few minutes for you to escape. The red marks on your skin start to burn. You get down to put out the torch by rubbing it against the beaten track. Cruxio switches its tail angrily as it gives you a reproachful look, pinning its ears to the back of its head. Alright, I'm sorry, bro. Not every idea I have is going to be a good one. Unless you find an easier way to protect yourself, the insects will keep slowing you down. Okay. I guess south then, huh? Oh, finally. Jesus Christ. The road is beaten free of litter and serves your palfrey well. You notice paths between the fruit-bearing trees on your right, and soon after that you ride alongside vast fields of green hemp plants, taller than you are, waiting for a scythe or sickle. Then there are broad beans, much shorter but healthy, almost ready for the second harvest of the summer. The path ends with a massive wooden gate. The stone wall separating you from the glow of lights behind it isn't as tall as the roofs, but you can't imagine climbing to its top. There are pretty much no cracks, no missing bricks, a sign of many hours of labor, especially considering how massive the settlement is, as wide as a city district. The birds and monkeys are now just a distant echo, replaced with the sounds of carts, humming, hammers, saws, laughs, and shouts. Finally, maybe I can rest here. Yeah, I agree, buddy. A young man is sitting in the shadow by the open gate. He's young, tan, and has a short, elegantly trimmed red beard. Beneath the green gambeson he wears an expensive tunic decorated with green, colorful trim. From his arm hangs a steel helmet. Though the metal is so thin, it's mostly made of wooden leather. He gets up and takes the posture of a disciplined soldier, not a mercenary. He's standing upright with his chin up. There are two weapons on the ground leaning on the wooden beams of the gate. An axe made of steel and a wooden club. He doesn't reach for either. You dismount smoothly, still having some vigor left. Cruxio holds his tail high. A narrow path leads south towards the two field workers, one with a hoe and one with a pitchfork. They wave to you. You can't see their faces, but their clothes are simple. Gray pants and vests made from hemp and wood. I'll wave back. They talk for a bit, looking towards you and pointing at your mount, then walk away, disappearing between the wall's corner. The guard smiles, yet avoids your eyes, and has to clear his throat before he speaks. Welcome, traveler. If you're not here to make trouble, Hollersdale welcomes you. Okay, we finally arrived to where we're going. We have the whitest flower there is. He bows. He realizes a well-practiced performance. If it's new garments you're looking for, you can order everything you need right here, in all colors, shapes, and sizes. Capes, boots, vests, robes. Or for yourself as a master of the needle, I can assure you that we have the fabric you're looking for. His act is over, and he glances at your mount. In a moment of silence, his eyes widen. I'll introduce Cruxio. This is Cruxio. It helps me patrol the roads. You can pet its side if you want, but no sudden movements. He follows your instructions. Even though your palfrey pays no attention to the man's careful touch, the guard grins wisely. I'm Mibro, your new road warden, and I want to see your mayor. You know, road warden, I guess when you're trying to say it officially, gets really tongue-tied. Road warden. Or maybe it's just me. Or maybe it's one of those things. Maybe I need to say road warden. Maybe I don't enunciate enough. Your new road warden. Well, whatever. A city folk, the mayor is busy, but I'll ask her. For now, come in. Please, take a look at our square. It's not too crowded, with only a few buildings on the edges, and a humming creek running west of here through the center of the village. A large tree grows in the center, surrounded by dark water, held together by a thin wall, perfect for sitting. But the smell coming from the liquid makes you think of rotten eggs. The plant carries no leaves, but you can't tell if it's truly withered. In the north, you see the tallest building in the settlement, nicely whitewashed and very city-like. Judging by the tables, stools, and benches outside of it, it's an inn, and it's open for guests. The villagers, all of them, are chatting and dining loudly, and you catch their curious glances. On the side of this dining area, there's a merchant's stall. He's currently arguing with a tall, broad-shouldered elder. The guard closes the gate and blocks it with a wooden beam, then asks you to wait for a bit. And he just spots the tether clerk, yo. There's a wide wooden roof right next to the gate that shelters carts, crates, and sacks. You move your mount next to a donkey to a beam placed right here just for that purpose. Without a moment of hesitation, Cruxhill starts to chew on a nearby haystack. You have some time to make sure it doesn't struggle for your bundles. When the guard returns, he's still alone. She cannot come now. A friend of mine's in labor, eh? The mayor wants to be there when the child arrives, but I was asked to show you the building. Wait, what? I was asked to show you the village. I nod. Fine. He takes you north past the inn through a narrow alley. You pass a tiny herbal garden and a pasturage surrounded by wooden fence. But the only animals you see are a loose chicken and a boar tied to the building, even though you can hear them on flume flock in the distance. Without haste, the guard tells you about Howlish Creek. It's wide yet shallow, gentle, and haven't overflowed the banks in years. Going to its source, you find no other settlement, so it stays clean and fresh, but there are hardly any fish in it, so only select few are allowed to hunt for them. We're the cleanest village in the north, he chuckles brightly. He walks to the ladder made of ropes and sticks, which leads to the top of the watchtower. Come with me, traveler. The view from up there is gorgeous. I mean, it could be a trap, but I don't think so. I don't know, whatever. Either way, I'll kick some ass. I climb after him. Even though the ladder swings in all directions, the guard gets to the top quickly, like a monkey climbing up creepers. You, on the other hand, need to stop and wait for the ladder to calm itself. When you join the man on the wooden platform, you're a bit dizzy. He's leaning on the wooden parapet, absorbing the area with a smile. I look around. See, there's no place like Howardsdale. The guard starts to point in all sorts of directions, giving you no time to contemplate. For the next few minutes, he describes the fields and their crops, the flocks in the pastures, and the shepherds inspecting the fences. The ancient garden of trees and bushes, larger than the village itself. The sunlight dancing on the stream to its own tune. If you were to believe everything he describes, this place has access to everything in abundance. The sweetest honey, the most fragrant bread, the softest wool, and the beer, 'tis excellent. He sounds like a city merchant who's trying to sell an old house. I wouldn't be an asshole to this guy. No wonder he's so proud of him. Why wouldn't he be? He's taking a scrap of land and lives in comfort. The inlet in the middle connects both parts of the village. There are 3 gates, though according to him, the northern one is hardly ever opened and leads pretty much nowhere. You've already seen the Ape Ale Inn, where you can find a bed and victuals and... Hold on, I need to look for a second. You've already seen the Ape Ale Inn, we can find a bed and victuals and the stall where Aikido's rewards our work, at least as long as we don't annoy him with pointless talk. Okay, that's his boss, I guess. He laughs briefly. On the opposite side of the creek, there's another White House. It belongs to Beyond, the best clothier in the north. The priest lives in the southeast near the wall, but they do not talk to strangers. You also hear about the hunter, the cooper, the fisher, the miller, The pie maker lives with his sister, the baker. The smith and her husband, the carpenter lives with his kids. I feel like we were about to get into nursery rhymes. Some of the larger buildings could accommodate 2, maybe even 3 generations at once. There could be more than 100 dwellers here. You consider stopping his speech, but he suddenly points at the islet again. There, see? The mayor's coming. The one wearing purple. You're free to join her, traveler. Alright, cool. Let's try to have this conversation and then probably call it a night for tonight since it's a little bit late for me. I was hoping to get on a little bit earlier, and I was also not planning to be delayed by the issue we have for our save files, but that's how it is sometimes. You know, it's helped us to sort of get out the kinks for the next episode, especially since I kind of went like, I think, a week between the recordings. But in my defense, I had made my new Penuma video where I sort of theorized about the connections between, you know, Penuma and Roadwarden and Penuma and Stoicism, or Stoic physics rather. I posted that on my YouTube channel. You know, if you made it this point, I feel like you probably no one's hearing this part, but if you do, go to my YouTube channel. I post it there. I think it's pretty interesting. Anyway, you try to get down quickly, but 2 steps are enough to make it clear that it's a bad idea. You wait for the ladder to find its balance. You're relieved when you touch the ground again. The tables in front of the inn are now crowded. The people on stools talk to each other loud enough to help the lone trader hear them. An old man is sitting by himself eating a pie with a walking stick leaning against the table. A young woman is cleaning empty mugs in the creek, speaking from a man at least twice her age, maybe her father. I look for the mirror and approach her. She's sitting on a chair with a 4-year-old boy on her knees. She's holding his hand gently, showing him how to eat grilled from a bowl. It's not a cheap meal, though. You spot nuts, berries, and milk, and the added honey makes it yellowish. The kid is clean and quiet, and once he notices your arrival, he clams his mouth with a spoonful of oats. That's good. I love oats. I love oatmeal. Oatmeal is great. So this gets, you know, the Miro seal of approval. Anyway, now, love, the mayor tithers. Do not get distracted. She rubs the meal off his face. A few more spoons and you'll go help Papa in the kitchen, aye? She gives you a radiant, though apologetic smile, then turns her attention back to her companion. I observe her more closely. Her long, full-sleeved linen dress must have been dyed once in blue, and once in red to achieve its dark, fancy purple, which have drawn looks even in Havlin. I guess purple is really fancy here, too. Historically, way back when, purple, like getting purple anything was, you know, a big deal. Because I think at some point you needed like some crustaceans that are really hard to get, things like that. And not to mention historically, purple's always been like a symbol of royalty. Even like in like Japan, purple's fancy. In Rome, you know, they spoke of wearing the purple, you know, like a symbol of royalty. But yeah, it was really expensive to get purple dye back in the day. Like really, really, really expensive and time consuming to get your clothes to turn purple. And like I said, I believe you needed some sort of shellfish or something like that to get purple until, you know, synthetic dyes came about. But I see that that transfers in this world too. Anyway, from her left shoulder hangs a green woolen cape as thin as a shawl. The brown belt on her waist has a large steel buckle that portrays a running deer with unrealistically large antlers growing in all directions like tree branches. Okay, girl got drip. Unlike her tribe folk, she's pale with powder and rough cheeks, and her lips match her outfit, though they're a bit closer to wine red. The thick gray strands in her long blonde hair look more like a fashion choice than a result of aging. Her eyes are the color of her cape, keen and vigorous. She's shorter than most people around, but would still be the tallest woman in most of the northern settlements. While she's around 40, her slim hands add fragility to her appearance, even though her posture is upright. Her legs confidently crossed and her delicate voice assertive. She makes plenty of gestures, but her shoulders hardly ever move. I'll be polite. I'll wait for as long as it takes. After a few more minutes, the boy lets out a gentle cough, and after a pat on the back, the mayor puts him on the ground. You did a great job, love, but now I need to speak with our guest, darling. She addresses one of the inn workers, a girl close to 15. Take him to father, will you? Her tone suddenly gets further, leaving no hint of a question or suggestion. Yes, ma, she responds. Both her hair and her eyes are nothing like those of her brother, and neither of the kids resemble their mother. So we have a Roadwarden again. Please sit down. She vaguely shows you the palm of her open hand. Lets you pick any place you want. Since I'm a guest, I'll sit on the bench next to her. Or am I a trade partner? I guess yeah, that's fine. The flowing water hits silently the rocks and wooden stakes surrounding the aisle, then splits into two stream beds. Oh, worst timing. Dry throat. Redo. The flowing water hits silently the rocks and the wooden stakes surrounding the aisle, then splits into two stream beds. In Havlavan, the river is surrounded by tall walls, protecting the banks from deterioration, and the water is seldom free of dirt. Here the smell is as fresh as it would be in the woods. The mayor observes your outfit carefully, at first looking as if she just ate an onion, but then puts on a polite smile. Once your eyes meet, she hardly ever looks away. I'm sure you're hungry. My husband will bring us something to eat soon. Jeez, just told me I got no drip. His clothes, whack. His shoes, whack. His axe, whack. I'm doing the best I can, okay? Anyway, I appreciate it. Do not mention it. Hunger makes me peevish, and the day is too nice for that. She taps her chest and looks at a flock of birds that fly above loudly, heading south. As they're waiting, be so good as to help me understand something. Even if you're but a mercenary, I cannot imagine a single reason for you to choose this realm for your wardening. Not so long as after Asterion's disappearance. There's no glory or treasure to find here. Her pale fingers form a 10 on her stomach, then clasp, leaving the forefingers pointing at you. You were sent here by the merchants. They want the peninsula. I'm not trying to intimidate. He's very smart. Not a distance. I simply explain the situation. You introduce yourself and confirm her suspicions. The guild and the deputy are in agreement. They are willing to send troops to this place to defend the settlements and patrol the roads. They'd cover their pay. You'd only have to look after their board and lodgings. You explain the rate of taxes open in negotiations, but they will be taken twice a year in spring or fall. You have time to think about it, you're sure, and you're free to consult with your people. Safer roads bring many travelers, artisans, merchants. I know you realize it's an opportunity. Yes, I do, she finally interrupts you. But roads bring other people as well, not all of them desired by us. As she observes your palfrey, she twists her deer buckle left and right. The times have changed, and your superiors were kind enough to send a messenger, not a temple guard with a list of demands. She grasps the buckle with her fist. But when it comes to the guild, there's always a catch. Her accent is now almost identical to the one used in the city. You're speaking from experience, I assume. Do I really sound that confident? She tithers and waves her hand by her chin, as if you just offered her a compliment. I've seen such negotiations during my studies, though I can't say I took an active part in them. Let me show you an example. She theatrically clears her throat, patting her chest with one hand and covering her mouth with another, and leans forward and rests on her elbows, allowing her hands to freely make gestures. You make a deal for settlement, flour and wool in exchange for coin and tools. You send the first trader, and they imply that you're ready to pay more for, let's say, parchment. Months later, you want no more rye, just a parchment and the wool. We cannot butcher any more monflutes, the locals say. Don't worry, you answer. We'll send you a small flock. Just turn one of your feuds into a pasturage. As she tends to speak as different characters, her voice comically shifts, and she has no issues switching between accents. I like her. I encourage her with a kind smile. She swings her hand about the table. Another year goes by, and when there's poor parchment, the villagers lack some crops. The tribe needs not just tools and coins, plenty of coins, but also seeds, and the guild is not satisfied. Sending our wagons costs a lot, and there are more highwaymen now. If you want us to come again, you need more monflutes and to sell us their cheese. And guess what? With a haunting laugh, she straightens up, spreads her arms like someone a third her age. Turns out that the village can't say no anymore. They lack supplies, seeds, and lands. They can't refuse. Yeah, that's fair. I can't argue with that. There's always like a sort of catch with these sort of things. Well, at least when you make these sort of business agreements and then you sort of change the ecosystem that you sort of had set up, and then if something changes, you're sort of at a disadvantage. Although that's not always the case, but when you're making these sort of large agreements, it's always a chance. Let's see. Hmm. I want to ingratiate her. Smile. Oh, how wonderful. Keep the compliments coming. No smile, no soul in the square reacts to our loud laughter. But all that doesn't mean I can counter every single city ploy on my own. That's the good thing about living here. With these kind of people all around us. She nods towards two little girls that are carrying a basket filled with vegetables between them. If some of us struggle, we all have to deal with the consequences. We all struggle, but we all benefit. But Holovan, if they see profit in chopping off their arms, they'll sell them to the first bidder. That's fair. She gives you a sad glance, but cheers up after a sigh. Let's finish the introductions. I'm Thighs, one of the keepers of the I'm Thighs, one of the keepers of the Ape Owl Inn and the mayor of Hallersdale. I assume that it would be convenient for you to take my answers back to Holovan. She wonders for a moment. Say, when could we expect our first caravan? After winter? It depends on what you can sell and what you want in return. While the conversation goes on, the food gets served. The refreshing aroma of roasted mutton covered with a thick sauce made of mint, parsley, and honey tempts you to bite in right away. The juices are sinking into the round trencher, a plate made of simple brown bread. There's also a small bowl full of chopped red radishes and a sliced boiled egg and a mug filled with cold buttermilk. For a minute, I thought this was about to just become food porn, right? Like just the whole page of me just narrating. I'm getting hungry anyway, so I am going to get off soon. It's all brought by a few young people, all of them referring to the mayor as their mother. And in the end, the innkeeper himself shows up to wish you a good meal. He's wearing a clean orange tunic and a not-so-clean apron made of hemp. He politely introduces himself as Eric's, and after confirming you won't get sick from what he prepared, he leaves you and his wife to your conversation. Thighs tears the meat in smaller pieces, then eats slowly, often expressing her enjoyment for him. Meanwhile, we get to the important stuff. Sounds like the nearby ground is fertile. The village would gladly pay its taxes in grains and vegetables, with the expectation that a squad of soldiers would provide additional protection. Our youth is strong, she claims proudly, so we don't need your guards on our walls, but a lone road warden won't keep the roads passable. We need fighters willing to patrol the paths, maybe even the heart of the woods. That's what we'd expect in return. You're not an expert when it comes to linen, cheese, and wool, so the mayor spends a good couple of minutes describing the outstanding quality of what the village has to offer, especially the clothes, which are meant to be as unique as those made by Master Crispus. You vaguely recognize the name of this tailor shoemaker, but you've never earned enough to pay him as much as a single sleeve. Oh, a second. Pardon me. And of course, we'll never reject some steel and bronze. We lack alloys for sickles and scythe. She then repeats her question about starting a trade route. Truth be told, the guild is not sure what the peninsula has to offer. It's going to take more than your village to convince them. Understandable, but you won't find much in the other tribes. They barely have enough to survive, even after they trade for our crops. For we have the only decent soil in this realm. At least the people of Gale Rocks have salts and barrels of fish, while creeks sell meat and wood. Actually, if you haven't been in creeks yet, the furthest village in the northeast, you can give them a chance. She nods with a smile. They could use your help with keeping their roads safe. White marshes, on the other hand, as well as old Pecos, are close to worthless. For a trade route, that is. She clears her throat. After these words, she stands up, walks to another table, and offers a trencher to an elderly man who sits there by himself. With a trembling voice, he thanks her, and stuck the chew on the soggy bread. She sits down, wipes her hands into a clean cloth, adjusts the folds of her cape, and once again crosses her legs. So tell me, Mibro, how's Havlaven? I haven't gathered much news since the invasion. Let's see. Well, things stay humble. Things stay humble, but are starting to look brighter. The harbor's full of life and the kids grow strong. We'll say it. I was hoping to hear that. Her smile shines with kindness. I thought they were done for. Losing all those ships and getting cut off from so many tribes. I'm surprised the soldiers didn't butcher all the priests and traders to fill their stomachs. It felt so unavoidable that even I came back home, afraid for my life. But I still carry memories of that place, most of them warm. I'm glad the others haven't given up. Her smile fades away and she speaks about looking in your direction, giving you a moment of rest. The first time I crossed the city walls and saw the streets, my soul saw them as if they were made of dragon bones and stone. All those people and the noise and the high house and this life happening all around me. But after only 2 years, everything collapsed for the first time in human memory like a burning dollhouse. She pauses, rests her hands on her stomach, and turns back to you. But don't let me drag you away from your duties. How can I help you, Mibro? So many options, a little time. You know what? I think we're gonna call it here. Let's save this because this is gonna be at least probably like another 30 minutes going off all these options. So save, journal, save. We're gonna save here again, save there, save here. Well, overall, I'm satisfied with the progress we made. Even putting off the rocky start that we had going on, we finally found Hallersdale, which I thought I would never find because I have no sense of direction. Let's see, we met Quintus, who I think is very interesting. I see the potential. Thighs, who I think is great. Let's see, is there anything else that we need to cover? No, I think we did pretty well. So, yeah, we'll call it here. Again, I am the Mibro Man, or Mr. Mibro Man, depending on where you know me. They're both the same thing as far as I'm concerned. So, thank you for watching. I'm probably going to post this on YouTube as well after I do some editing. So, feel free to like, subscribe. I'm also over here on Twitch. I also stream on YouTube. I sort of alternate while I'm giving this a shot. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.